This is the Southside School of Financial Freedom Market Report and Small Account Update for the week ending May 11th, 2024. The market finished higher this week. The Dow Jones Industrial Average increased 0.32% on Friday and was up 2.16% for the week. The S&P 500 increased 0.16% on Friday and was up 1.85% for the week. The Nasdaq decreased minus 0.03% on Friday, but was up 1.14% for the week. Looking at the week, we can see that there were 11 up finishes and 4 down finishes for the major indexes. On Monday and Thursday, all the major indexes finished up. On Tuesday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500 finished up, while the Nasdaq finished down. On Wednesday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished up, while it was the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq that finished down. And on Friday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500 finished up, while the Nasdaq finished down again. How did you do? My small account finished minus 4.36% lower, but generated cash flow of 2.32%. Even when the market falls and or my account doesn't do well, I still get income or cash flow by selling covered calls and naked puts. This method does not only guarantee cash flow or income, it can beat the S&P 500. I don't use charts, I don't use fundamental analysis, I don't use indicators or signals, and I definitely don't sit in front of a computer screen all day to watch the market. I simply choose a stock from my watch list to sell covered calls and or naked puts. I do have 5 criteria for choosing stocks to put on my trading watch list. I will not reveal what my criteria are, but if you examine my list, you may be able to figure out the criteria for yourself. The last row is my benchmark row. That is, I measure my performance against gold, silver, and the S&P 500. I choose the stock option based on whether I own the stock or I would like to own the stock. I choose a strike price, an expiration date, a bid, and I submit a limit order. Then I wait for execution. If the sale does not execute, I may change my order or wait until the next day to submit a new order. Looking at my watch list from the week, the strongest performer on the list was Novavax Incorporated, ticker symbol NVAX. It is in the first column. It was up 98.66% on Friday and increased 80.12% for the week. Novavax Incorporated is a biotechnology company that discovers, develops, and commercializes vaccines to protect against serious infectious diseases. The company offers a vaccine platform that uses a recombinant protein approach to vaccine development. It also uses nanoparticle technology, and it has a patented matrix M adjuvant to enhance the immune response in patients. Novavax commercializes a COVID-19 vaccine, and it skyrocketed on Friday on news that a French drug and vaccine company called Sanofi would invest $1.2 billion to take a minority stake in Novavax. Looking at a summary of results, you can see that Novavax has increased 85% year to date. I have generated cash flow from Novavax in the past, but this week I generated cash flow from selling 7 different option contracts, 4 calls, and 3 puts that range from $4.34 to $32.34. So on Monday, I sold 3 puts, one for $32.34, one for $20.34, and one for $10.34. On Thursday, I sold 2 calls, one for $8.34 and one for $7.34. And on Friday, I sold 2 more calls, one for $5.34 and one for $4.34. That is a total of $88.38, which is not a lot of money, but the account is small, and $88.38 in cash flow was 2.32% of my account value. With this system, This money is free and clear. You can take it out of your account and spend it or leave it in to build your cash balance and or invest it. If you want to increase the amount of cash flow, you just use a larger account with a larger amount. For example, to 10x the cash flow to $883.80, use a larger account and instead of selling one of everything I sold, sell 10. This strategy is guaranteed to produce cash flow immediately and every week that it is applied. However, it does not guarantee the amount of cash flow from week to week, nor the value of your account. The amount varies and the account value varies. Despite the variations in amount and value, the goal is to generate cash flow and beat the S&P 500. And that is what I am openly showing you every week as it happens. Note that most professional money managers and their strategies do not consistently beat the S&P 500 every year. They usually lose, and they usually lose by a lot. Last year, this method beat the S&P 500 by almost 12%. But in 2024, my account is down minus 23.54% versus 9.58% up for SPY, which is an S&P 500 ETF. That is a difference of 33.12%. So I am losing to the S&P 500 by just over 33%. It is not unusual to beat the S&P 500 one year and then lose to the index the next year. Will I befall this same fate as most professional money managers? It looks like it, as I am still trailing SPY by a lot. However, I am confident that I will gain on the S&P 500. Tune in next week to find out what happens. Bitcoin watch. Bitcoin lost minus 3.58% this past week, and it is still in a bull market despite dropping down from all-time highs. It is up almost 45% year to date. Some people believe, and I am one of them, that Bitcoin is the most transformative financial asset in 1,000 years. I think the best course of action is to dollar cost average, that is DCA, into the S&P 500 and DCA into Bitcoin at a 30% to 30% to 70% ratio for the next 10 years and or up to when you have invested at least $10,000. I may start such a strategy soon. What do you think? What is your strategy? Do you know how to produce cash flow every week and beat the S&P 500? Do you invest in Bitcoin, which again may prove to be the smartest investment of the decade? As you develop, analyze, and implement your strategy, please check back to see how well my small account performs against the S&P 500 from week to week by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you.